Okay, where we left off, we had just figured out what the crazy sister of sine was, and what was it again? Sine goes with what? Cosecant. Okay, so if I was going to ask you a question about cosecant, and I told you this first, you should start by drawing me the little triangle that goes with the situation. So everybody, right now, write this down, and then draw me a little triangle that goes with it. And you say, well, theta, I don't know how big it is, but I just draw a triangle and I put the theta there. And now, which side is 3 and which side is 5? Sine stands for what over what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So if it's opposite over hypotenuse, then opposite must be 3, and the hypotenuse must be 5. All right. If I then asked you for the cosecant of theta, it'd be really simple. What would it be? 5/3. Just flip it. But what they're going to do is this. They're not going to ask you for the cosecant. They're going to ask you for like the secant of theta. So to figure out the secant, you really need to go back to the one that you're more familiar with. That's like the crazy sister of secant. And that would be which one? Cosine. So to figure out this one, I really need to figure out the cosine of theta. And then the cosine of theta needs me to know the adjacent cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. So I need to find adjacent and hypotenuse in this, and this is the adjacent one, and I don't know it. But you can figure it out, can't you? It's Pythagorean theorem, and I bet you even know what it is. What is it? 4, because it's 3, 4, 5 triangle. So that one must be 4. So once I've got that, I can go cosine of theta would be adjacent over hypotenuse, 4/5. So then what's the secant of theta? 5/4. Notice you can't just take this and flip it all the time to get your answer. If I wanted cosecant, that would have just been flip it. But if I ask for secant, you'll have to go in, figure out the other side of the triangle, and reconstruct it from there. All right. You're gonna practice that more on your homework, but maybe just one more quick one. Let's say I said cosine of theta is 5/13. Draw me the triangle that would go with this, because then I'm going to want you to figure out cosecant, which does not go with cosine. Cosecant goes with something else. I'll pause while you work on that. Okay, so first thought, set this up right. Where does the 5 go? Well, cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. See, adjacent over hypotenuse. So the 5 is the adjacent one. This is the hypotenuse. So the 5 goes here. Hypotenuse goes there. And do you guys know how long this side has to be then? 12. Very good. And I did mention that one once as a common triangle, but otherwise you could have used the Pythagorean theorem to go a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Anyway, you figure out that that's, whoa, that was weird. That sign is 12 there. So now, if I want cosecant, I go to the crazy sister first because I'm more familiar with that. What's cosecant the crazy sister of? Sine. And sine of theta, if I just knew that, I could just flip it, right? What's sine of theta? Look up here now, what's sine of that? Opposite over hypotenuse, 12/13. So if sine of theta is 12/13, then cosecant of theta would have to be 13/12. Raise your hand if you had 13/12. Good, that's most of you. Okay. Moving on, the last thing I got to teach you is called the unit circle. You know what unit means? 1. So it's just a circle that has a radius of 1. And here would be a good answer to this question right there. What comma what is this? Because I don't know how long this is, but I know since it's on the XY axis that that's the X distance. And that's the Y distance. And so this point right here would be what comma what? I don't know what it is, but it's what comma what? X comma Y, right? But could I actually figure out the numbers? Yes. Trigonometry gives me many ways I could figure this out. What's the fastest way? The fastest way is if you remember your helper triangles. Homer Simpson had a helper monkey. You can have your helper triangle. And your helper triangle will say 45, 45, 90. And this side must be like X, and this side would be like X. And do you remember what that is? It's not 2X. X, and then what? Square root of 2. All right. So now, this means that this is the same as this is, whatever they are. They're the same. So I just really need to figure it out once, right? Remember how we can set this up? This is like this, right? And I don't know what this is. I'm going to call it M. But 1, or X root 2 is to 1 as M, no, as X is to M. So that's like this. So then I divide both sides by X, and I'd have, uh-oh, it's not going to work. Somebody have a smarter way to do this? It's really pretty simple. What's M got to be? M is not 1. 1 divided by the square root of 2. Very good. So M divided by, sorry, M is equal to 1 over square root of 2, which is also known as 2 root 2 over 2. No, it's not. Oh, root 2 over 2. You're right. Root 2 over 2. So that would have been an okay way to do it. Once I've got that, if I know that side's root 2 over 2, and so is this. 2 over 2. And I could have done it a different way too. If you really don't like those helper triangles that much, what trig function could I have done to figure out this? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Cosine of 45 equals adjacent over hypotenuse, x over 1. The cool thing about the unit triangle, or unit circle, is that you're going to divide by 1 a lot, because x over 1 is just x. And so that means that if I want x, it's just cosine of 45. So you just use your calculator, figure out cosine of 45, and you got it. The only thing is that your calculator usually doesn't give that as is it with a square root of 2 in it. It'll just give you this decimal. All right. On to the next unit circle question. 60 degrees. Ooh, that tells me it's which kind of triangle? 30, 60, 90. You remember the relationship here? The small side here, how does that relate to this one? It's half as big, so this one's easy. This is a half, right? And do you remember on your 30, 60, 90 helper triangle? This is 60 and this is 30, so this is 1, or this is like x, this is like 2x, and what's that one like? All right, so then take this is like x now, right? So what do I put here? 1/2 square root of 3. Yep. So then if they want to know what point this is, it's x, which is right here, which is 1/2, and y, which is right here, which is 1/2 root 3. Okay. See if we can do that one all by yourself. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as last time. So this is a half here, half as big as that is, right? Because it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And then you take half and then what? Square root of 3. If you know those triangles, it's a lot faster. So that's good that you can make that 30, 60, 90 kind of helper triangle work for you. All right, last one. This one is all general. You'll see if this blows your mind. This is x. Agreed? This is y. Agreed? Then, if I want to figure out cosine of theta. So there they are. Cosine, comma, sine. It's kind of wild.